You have first-hand knowledge of how the government can spy on its citizens. Can you share how your personal computer was hacked, or no?
Yes. During the time period where I was covering Fast and Furious and many other stories that were often went after Republicans, I guess it was perceived, and often went after Democrat interests, I guess it was perceived, although I don't think of my stories as politically divided, but a lot of people do like to label them one or the other. And I was also covering stories that corporate interests didn't like. And I have a couple sources in the intel industry who approached me separately and said, you're probably being monitored for the work that you're doing, specifically regarding Fast and Furious and the Benghazi story. And I didn't know what that meant, because if you can take yourself back, this was, I'm trying to think, around 2013. We didn't yet know the government was doing this sort of thing, so it sounded kind of crazy to me. But these were reliable people who really work in the intel community and are connected. So, long story short, through my sources, I was able to get a very, very good expert forensic analyst to look at my computer and discovered forensic evidence that's irrefutable of government intrusion or a government IP address, and someone using government software, we'll say that, to hack into my computers. And it was a long-term effort. We can tell when they came in. We can tell what they were monitoring, how they were looking at my keystrokes, how they used Skype. I didn't even know they could do this, to listen in on audio of what I was doing on my computer. They could activate things without me knowing it. I mean, really shocking stuff. But now we know in retrospect, this stuff was happening to, more journalists than just me, and more citizens than just me. So, that was the beginning of us learning the extent to which the government was spying on its own citizens.
That's crazy. How many presidents have you met or interviewed in your career?
Well, American presidents, not many. Let me think about that. I've met quite a few foreign dignitaries, especially when I worked at CNN, maybe even interviewed them remotely. But in the U.S., I have interviewed Barack Obama when he was a senator and running for president, and he never agreed to an interview with me when he was president. I have met President Clinton. I don't think I've ever interviewed him. I have met and interviewed President Trump. He's been the one that was, at least as a candidate, the easiest for me to get to. I think I interviewed him 3 or 4 times. I haven't been able to get an interview with him since he's been president. I've been asking since November. So I think that's my list of presidents, U.S. presidents.
That's pretty remarkable, though.
Well, there's certainly Washington reporters who have met and covered more. That's not my area of coverage or interest. I typically do, I call it original investigative reporting. I try to go in the direction other reporters don't, because my viewpoint is, why do I want to cover something everybody else is covering quite well? I'd rather cover an underreported angle, or a story that others aren't covering, so that I can feel like I'm doing something that brings facts to light that you don't otherwise already know.
Yes. Tell us about your new news show, Full Measure, that airs each Sunday.
This is a program when I left CBS in the middle of my contract, because I felt, as many reporters do and did, that the industry was no longer often wanting us as reporters to seek the facts. They were sort of telling us their idea of the facts and making us fill in the blanks. And I just didn't think it was always an honest process, or one that fit with what I like to do and thought I could be valuable doing. So I left my contract early and didn't really know what I was going to do after that, if anything, in the industry. And among the opportunities that came up was this new program from an outlet called Sinclair that owns stations around the country, and they simply said to me, would you do the sort of reporting you were doing at CBS? The watchdog, whistleblower, government waste, fraud, and abuse, the very corporate malfeasance, the very stuff you did all those years at CBS, we want you to do. And they have been true to their word and not editorially interfering in an inappropriate way with my stories, or trying to steer them in a false direction, which was my problem at CBS the last couple of years. So it's been wonderful. I feel like every Sunday we bring stories. I like to say we don't waste your time telling you what you already heard all week. We bring stories that you haven't heard and you didn't know anything about, or angles on stories that you haven't heard. And it's been a lot of fun.
And where exactly can our listeners find this show?
You can look at fullmeasure.news. under about, we have a TV listing. So it'll be on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, Telemundo, CW, depending on where you live. If you don't have a station yet, you can watch any time at fullmeasure.news. We put the segments up there, and you can see the live stream on Sundays, or you can just watch replays when it's posted. It's so easy to watch. And I think if you're someone who thinks there must be something going on in this universe besides what came out of Trump's mouth or what he tweeted today, if you want to think that there's other things going on in politics and medicine and corporate world and taxes and waste, fraud, and abuse, you'll find it on our program, and you can just dig through the programs we've done in the last few weeks and have a lot of fun reviewing and seeing original reporting like I think we used to see a lot more of.
And I'm so impressed that you are a third-degree black belt in Taekwondo. That is amazing. When did you start that? How old were you when you started?
Thank you. Well, let's see. I'm now fourth degree.
Oh,
yes, and I started when my daughter was 6. We walked by a storefront and she saw some people practicing in a Taekwondo class and asked to take it. And I took her probably for 4, 5, 6 months before I realized I could be getting exercise and doing this too. I saw other adults taking the class, so I started. That was in, I want to say, 2002 when I joined, early 2002. So my daughter's 22 now, and I'm a fourth-degree black belt, and it's a great form of exercise and a lot of fun, and supposedly good for self-defense, although they teach you what you're really supposed to do if attacked is get away.
Mm-hmm.
But, I do practice sparring and fighting and all of that, too, which is a lot of fun and good exercise.
Yeah.
How can listeners purchase your new book that was just released this week?
Please go anywhere. Like, a lot of bookstores will have it. I think Barnes & Noble, and online, Amazon and iBooks and Barnes & Noble have it. So just your favorite outlet, look for it. If you don't see it in the store, they can have it to your house pretty quickly online. Just Google The Smear. And if people want me to sign, people ask sometimes, can I sign it? I can sign a book plate. It's just a sticker. If you send me your snail mail address and your receipt for the book to info@SharylAttkisson.com. And if you Google me, you can see how to, even if you misspell my name, the correct spelling of my name will come up. But if you email me at info@SharylAttkisson.com, I'm happy to send a sticker for people who want, a personalized signature inside there. And I really appreciate the support because I think I try to shed some light and offer some suggestions for how to sort through these narratives that you seem to be getting everywhere you look. And I also expose some of the key players and how they operate so that, I think your listeners probably know something's going on and they're not getting necessarily the entire accurate truth all the time when they watch the news. But this book will really help give you some tools on how to navigate around that.
And
most importantly,
can you tell the listeners how they can follow you on social media?
Yes, at Sharyl Attkisson on Twitter. I have a pretty active Twitter account, and I have a professional Facebook page. I think Facebook page. It's Sharyl Attkisson Public, I believe. But again, if you just Google my name, even if you misspell it, after you get through the AstroTurf negative stuff that's been put out there by these PR firms, you will actually really reach me and find my real pages, and would be honored to have people follow the pages and look around on there and see the sorts of things that I like to talk about. I'd like to hear from you too.
Yes, Michelle, and most importantly, who's favorite sports team?
I would have said at one time the Atlanta Braves because I was working at CNN and we got free tickets at CNN as being employees, and we went to the World Series that year. And after me being such a devoted Braves fan, I never missed a game on TV or in person. The next year, I started trying to watch, and all my boys, I call them, were gone. All the players I grew to know and love. And I said to my husband, "Where's so-and-so?" And he said, "Oh, they got traded. They moved." And I was heartbroken that my team broke up. And when I realized that was the reality of sports, I just never got into another one. But I watch from time to time, but I can't say I have a big favorite that I watch all the time.
And an NFL team?
Nope. I mean, I live in Washington, so I certainly root for the Redskins.
That's what I was waiting for. Okay, Sarah.
I have to say, day to day, I may not know if they won the last game because I don't watch all the games, but I'm always rooting for the home team wherever I live.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. We truly appreciate it, Michelle. Thank you so very much.
You're very kind to have me. I appreciate it.
And Tia, do you have anything else today?
No,
Cheryl,
just no, just Cheryl. Thank you so much. I've followed you on Twitter for all these years, and I've always been a fan since you were on CNN. And I just think you're wonderful at what you do.
Well, I'm trying hard, and I really appreciate that compliment. I have nothing else left that I want to do other than, for my own advancement, other than try to shed light on some truths and facts that other people don't want us to hear. And I really enjoy doing it. And I appreciate your support.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Have a great week.
You have a wonderful evening. Happy 4th of July.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Thank you.